last 3 introduction games of Grant, Elin, and Lamb. So first up, we're going to start with Grant, also known as Azzoth Bolg. So, Azzoth, you have left your home village on the grassy plains of Nearlath as part of a large orc warband. Would you like to describe your character, Mr. Bolg?
Yep, I'm a half orc, and as I was saying before, my mother was a half orc. I'm a son of my father was also a half orc, so I'm a line of half orcs. I won't say nobility in my tribe, but
I'm waiting for the accent to kick in.
He hasn't decided yet.
Yeah, he was just talking about it at home, just as no accent.
I was like, I don't know any accents. I know Russian.
You have to pretend you're not just coming after your mouth.
Top of the morning to you.
He's electrical. Wow, bad Irish. Terrible Irish.
No, I've got that. But that's good.
Anyway, so growing up, you kind of adopted that leadership sort of role, and in the war, you ended up as a platoon commander. So, as we said, you left your village on Nearlath as part of a larger orc warband, and aboard Admiral Banner's great fleet, you and your men were transported to Isath, the sister continent, where you joined the Great Orc Army, the Unchained Fist. Being half orcs, you and your soldiers are slightly smaller in stature than the full-blooded orcs that make up the majority of that force. And as such, your platoon has had great success in scouting, setting ambushes, and kind of being that outrider platoon of the larger force. Under your leadership, you've earned quite the reputation of excellence, which is why you've been selected for the final mission before your platoon is redeployed back to your home continent. Your quarry on this mission, Aurora, the goddess of the sky in these lands. She's been hiding high in the mountain ranges, swooping down into the plains below and decimating, laying waste to entire towns. Your mission is to be bait, to lure her from the high mountain
I thought you
passes.
said to be baked.
To bait.
Okay, yeah.
Not to be baked. To be baked, to lure her down from the mountain passes where she lives, to lure her into an ambush and hold her there. Hold her there and hold her attention for long enough for the greater ambush to be sprung by the rest of the Orcish forces. So you and your 30 soldiers are currently spread out in an intentionally rough campsite. You're all very, very experienced kind of frontier orcs, but you've intentionally set up your campsite to be very rough. A small campfire is burning slightly damp wood and giving out columns of smoke, kind of drifting along on the ground in the cold mountainous weather, disguising the terrain that you're standing on. Dirty tents flap in the breeze, barely pegged down, and one of your most experienced scouts is currently skinning and gutting a mountain goat. You wrinkle your nose as your scout accidentally ruptures the guts from the animal, the smell washing over you.
This is as he was butchering the.
No, I wrote this months ago, last month.
Intro's being served up right now.
Intro's being served up right now, which is terrible timing because I'm about to bring out the map, which I'm sure we can squeeze in.
How do I read?
We're going to do this.
So, a short time after, as the stench kind of washes over the camp and the mixes in with the smoke. That's right, we can make it. The map's not giant.
Should I take this?
Take that. And these.
Oh, thank you.
Delicious.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's right. You can place. Here, you can use this as a mat to put your food on as well. Because it doesn't matter. I'll throw it out afterwards.
Oh, that's a good one.
Put it lengthwise like this, and put all your food on top of it. Don't make it too long. So for the camera that can't see, we have mountainous terrain with a few tents and a fire. I'll get you to kind of place yourselves around over here, just between these couple of tents. So, Azzoth, a little time after you hear a horn blast. But no one else seems to react to it, and you know this is the silent horn of your friend and your second in command, Gel Halfstomp. The horn sounds only in your mind. It's a magical horn. Your prey has been sighted. Your prey has been sighted. it's coming towards you.
And the food.
The rest of your soldiers are kind of just. What's that?
Okay.
The rest of your soldiers are kind of just sitting around the campfire, spread out, some around here. You know, you've got 30 odd soldiers, but your immediate squad is just kind of sitting around there. No, there's no pony. Okay, the pony is the animal hanging up being dusted.
Oh no.
We should have one more character.
Ellen's.
Ellen's.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not. You're fine. You're fine.
So, yeah, so the horn has sounded in your mind from Gel Harstomp. Oh, beautiful. Letting you know that your prey is closing in on you. What would you like to do?
I'll get that archer. I'll ask him to hide up in the bushes there.
So,
My place is.
no,
Is it you?
yeah.
Get in there, dog.
Quickly go and hide in the shadows next to the tent. Thank you. What else?
Yeah, let's get them to sit around these tents here.
So just spreading out a little bit
Spread out.
and taking shelter around near the tents. You're just gonna
Myself, I'll stay in the center there inside the light as a target.
No, it's just the phone because
Oh, Emma, I need
all the
you.
shit. Not all the ones that are very low.
So right as you finish kind of directing your troops past, the other ones kind of just scatter off into small forces around the place.
That's my phone option too.
1 second.
Is
Sky,
the
can I
phone
use this?
more
It's all good. No, it's all
All
good.
good?
It's connected up now.
So yeah, as you finish,
My phone died and I was like, oh.
I'm just calling her
And then
right
I've
now.
got my better quality one.
so as you finish directing your troops past, moving your soldiers around, loud screeches just shatter the sky and diving down out of the sun. You see 5 humanoid silhouettes descending onto you.
Are we getting,
Roll initiative.
getting attacked by harpies?
Why is this plus proficiency, isn't it?
Right?
No.
What am I?
Dexterity. Plus your dex.
Give a roll initiative.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard.
I have no deck in the circle.
Judy Dench is at 17.
Cutie bitch.
And my little bodyguard.
Yeah,
If I die, it's on you.
I got 15.
Fuck is also 17.
Alright, so
17.
what did you get, Grant?
15.
15?
Yeah, what can you say in the list?
I can play anything under. Fuck. I know fuck.
Ellen, would you like someone to roll your initiative for you?
Yes, please. So I'm 15.
Am I?
Plus anything with her, that's
Oh.
fine.
Where is she?
Let's go.
Well,
Land.
my dexterity is 0.
What did you get again?
So on
15?
dexterity.
What did you get?
15.
So, Grant.
Where does it say
That's fine.
initiative?
Oh no, just go.
It's plus dex. That's fine. And Ellen.
Oh, I'm +1 on that.
In theory,
Right,
I'll
so-
be in the shade there.
Coming screaming out of the sky, you see this. The body, huge, hulking body of a large bird of prey. The head of a wolf with just these jaws opening up.
It's got antlers.
It's called a
too.
periton.
Is that what the silent P?
No. Loud P.
This is what we're fighting.
So yeah, it's got the body and wings of a giant bird of prey with the head of a stag, and
I
just
have flying
but
roofs.
the stag's just mouth just seems to tear open unnaturally wide, exposing fangs,
It's okay, we got a giant bird.
dripping with blood and gore. So yeah, the periton. You haven't seen these things before, but you have heard of them.
This is at home. Can't press
And
it.
you've seen the slaughter that they leave behind the villages that Aurora has driven through.
Buckets of
These
blood.
things are the bloodthirsty hunters.
Hero of the blood.
Aurora.
Here's the blood.
Tick. So currently, this thing's descending down upon you. I should have to chuck it in between. So first up is Lamb.
Bryce. Cutlery.
Thank you.
I've got cutlery. Oh.
I was gonna say there's like a little gesture thing you want to put your books on. But, yeah, I was like, normally there is somewhere.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. It was hiding in the chair. Here you go. Press.
Sweet. No, I'll put my food down there.
They can see what
There's
we're
two hot
eating.
wings now. So, Lamb, you're up. Currently, this creature is diving down out of the sun. It's also quite interesting. As you saw its kind of shadowed silhouette, it was a humanoid, looked like a human shape, but as it got out of the sun, you could clearly see the monstrous creature that it was. They're weird creatures.
I'll raise my crossbow on fire.
No, Emma.
Roger.
Eat, please.
Roll to hit.
Do you want to use this to roll in as well?
Aye, hits.
What'd you roll?
Sorry.
I roll a 5.
So,
Give them hours.
you try to take a shot, but there's still that glint of the sun in the background. You can't quite get a clear shot into it. Ellen, you're up. So far, this thing is still up in the air. I believe you don't have any.
Right.
I don't have any ranged weapons, so I will
So,
ready myself.
Roger. So you just ready your. What weapon do you have?
A rapier.
Ready your rapier to attack as soon as it comes down. Right.
Challenge.
Or Azzoth, what would you like to do?
I guess I'll draw it towards me. Be nice and
You
flank.
kind of run out into the open, kind of brandishing your weapon, trying to make yourself look big.
That's it.
Give me a.
It's gonna be a bad roll. Alright, it is.
Either give me an intimidation or performance check. They're probably terrible for you, but
Intimidation I can do. That's
Intimidation?
Plus 0.
that's alright. Let's do it.
Other than minus 2.
3. So you kind of try to look big and powerful, and you actually kind of
He runs into the fish on
yeah,
the way.
you kind of almost slip over on some of the guts that have just been spilled out, and kind of the blood and guts spill all over you, drenching you. And surprisingly, this has probably the effect that you were after, as we know with this. As this thing kind of just eyes glaring towards you and your small band. Sky.
That's right.
What would you like to do?
I think that's
The dog will eat
I've
that.
only got a spear,
Oh, it's a
so
rubber.
I'm also just going to sort of ready myself until it gets closer to being stab range. How many spears do I have? Just the one?
Just the one.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to
It's
touch
a good quality spear though.
Where's Judy? She had
Right, it's the Periton's turn. So seeing Azzoth covered in blood, it will dive down and slam into here, missing this because he doesn't want to impale himself. Actually, he goes onto this side.
Do I get
So
a
it's
reaction?
surrounded.
Thingy?
That
Do I
looks
get the
like
range,
a plan.
study range?
Which one are you? Right, yep. So you'll get an attack of opportunity. Or well, you've got your ready to attack.
Can I ask when Judy's had her turn?
Oh, sorry, that was.
You've got 17.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
17.
Oh, yes, sorry, hit. Yeah, sorry, that would have been
That's right, I'll just.
there, and that would have been Helen. Yeah,
So-
sorry. So yeah, you're
That's right.
ahead as well. If you wanted to ready your.
I'll just
Did
17.
you have any ranged?
I've got a speed.
That's right.
I mean, you
No,
can if
I'm
you
not
want.
throw it. No, I'm not throwing it.
17?
17 hits. Right, give me damage.
Ooh, 9?
9 damage.
Yeah.
Um,
More, that would have been, yeah, but yeah. It's okay, yeah.
So it is going to do a gore attack onto Azzoth as it flies down on top of you. It's going to try to bite into you with its fangs.
Good thing you rolled
Ooh,
for your
not
second
great.
level.
8 plus 5. What's that? 13.
Doesn't hit.
Doesn't hit. And then at the same time as it strikes for you, it's going to strike for Sky with its talons on the other side. Oh, with a natural 2. Right, I'm not off to a good start here.
This is
Um,
good. This is how Greg survives.
Seems it's Grant's distraction has kind of confused it slightly as it has just holded it course to try to ram its way down into there. So back to the top. Yep, we have Lamb.
I will step up behind it and attack it with my scimitar.
Move your others. You're here.
Yup.
What, are you sitting in the wrong spot? Sit under it.
Yeah.
definitely
I'll
get
give you
something there.
advantage on this one. You've got it pretty nicely surrounded.
Emma's not very good at eating
18,
rice.
oh, sorry, 16 to hit.
Sorry, do you want me to turn the fire off?
No, that's fine. That is really warm.
5 damage.
I need to get one for the blue now.
Bet, you're up.
Oh, okay.
Which one are you?
Brave the thief.
So 5, 10. Should I come up next to you and help?
Probably, yeah, come
Yeah.
on next.
Yeah, I'll come
Next to you,
next
boss
you.
man.
And I'll stabby stab.
No dramas.
That's it.
Yeah, with
Two
my lovely speed. It's 1 dice, isn't it?
Advantage?
Is it advantage?
I think so.
Yeah,
'cause I'm
yeah.
like,
Sky's threatening it from the other side enough.
10
Plus,
15.
plus.
You have like
put your plus on there.
Where
5. No,
3, sorry.
that's
Where
right.
is it? I don't even know.
First
Yeah.
one.
No, plus 4 if it's
Oh, plus
2-handed.
3.
Oh,
That's 13.
No, you're not two-handed, you've got a shield.
I got shield.
Yeah, so plus 3.
Okay.
Plus 3, just hits.
Oh,
Roll
yeah.
damage.
So damage is
100, so 1d6 plus 1.
1d6.
Is it meant to be plus 4?
Then it's
Am I getting food everywhere?
Oh, okay.
attacks plus 3.
That's right, I didn't add that to my thing.
It's alright, he's going.
Yep, he's got it. 1 plus 1.
2 damage.
2. Just 2.
What then do you have? So you jam your
It's a
spear forward.
spear.
It
Yeah.
mostly manages to bend it to the side, but it still kind of just
I break
slices
its
into
little
the
finger.
side of its kind of jaw, just opening up its gigantic mouth even more than it already was. It just
Nice.
slashed open the side. Grant, back up to you.
I'll take a swipe. Okay.
what's your plus to hit?
Plus 6. So 13.
13 just hits.
Oh, nice, okay.
These things, once they're on the ground, they're kind of hard to. They don't move too easily. They much more prefer to be kind of swooping in and ducking back out again.
2, 6.
So you've got the chain bowler to keep them on the ground.
And I'm going
Do
to
you want more
action
rice?
surge and take another shot at it.
Yeah, nice.
No, it's alright. It's alright.
Plus,
Yep,
That's
that
alright.
hits.
You have some mummies. Yeah. No, it's alright. I'll keep
Eight.
some of mine. There you go.
9 and 12.
Steal some of that if you really want.
What? Oh, the rice. Of course it'll be a rice.
Oh, no, don't worry. No, it's fine.
That's it.
Right,
You're not cooking enough rice.
No, she does. It's only this one that only eats rice. That's all she's.
I will try and hit it again. I get advantage.
That's enough.
Yep.
It's enough, Emma. You eat your rice.
Oh, well, I'll step into advantage
Step
range.
into range, yep.
Oh, you want your water? Okay. Great, can you get her water? It's in the bag. Thanks, Dan.
Uncle Dad's getting order. So thank you, Dad.
9.
9 doesn't hit.
Yep.
And Ellen.
Rolling this one.
Yep. At advantage if you want to run in. Do you want to run in here?
Yeah, I'm gonna run in. Ah!
With your
Protect my glorious leader.
rapier?
My rapier 18.
Yep, that'll hit. Nice. Give some damage. Be a D8.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
8.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, the napkin's in her pocket as well as the nose.
Thank you.
You just
You guys are on
smash
the
this thing open with your rapier and just screeches out in pain.
Take that.
Shouldn't think of putting
I
it in
have
her
a bad
pocket.
French accent.
Good ode.
And this thing seems to, like, as you cut it, it just seems to just go into a blood frenzied rage. And just unnaturally just darts clean straight up into the sky. Too fast for you even to react. And then as you watch, it just kind of turns itself back down. And just crushes back down. Let's see who it wants to hit.
We better have
1, 2,
chickens tonight.
3, 4, 5.
Straight on the
6.
rapier.
You get 2 chances because you were the last one that hit it. 1, 2, 3.
Lucky.
Alright, so it's going to come first attack onto you and second attack onto... Who's that? Is that you, Beck?
Oh.
So, gore attack.
I'm already taken down by the looks
I'm
of
rolling
it.
terribly.
Do you want a new dice?
15.
No.
Beck. That's better. 19 plus stuff. Alright, so you're going to take...
Can I swap hit and Greg get the 19 off?
So you manage to just duck aside as the jaws go clamp into the ground, but the talons... 2 1s, come on. That's right, 5...
You did twice.
I got hit
Two
twice.
damage.
Wait, no. That's 5 plus...
Oh no.
That's better.
I'm good, thanks. I'm still right.
10... You take 18 damage as
I'm
these
dead.
claws just clean through you, so you're very unconscious on the ground. And yeah, so he ducks out of the way. Oh, yes, please. Thank you. and the claws near on cut you clean in half, just shearing through your armour. But
Got a
he's,
shield though,
Well,
so
not
it protected you a
No,
little
did
bit.
you?
I'm out cold.
but he's back on the
Yeah,
ground
probably not dead.
behind you guys here. But
Oh
he's
no.
looking very rough. He's almost suicide bombed him
You
his
got
way
him. You hit him, so you've done
down
damage.
into dirt.
Right, whose turn?
Back to the top is Lambs.
Okay.
I will attack it from behind with a scimitar.
Is that not advantage?
one roll?
Oh yeah.
He doesn't get around behind it. Yeah, he'll be able to get around
He
behind it.
got a
You can roll 2.
19.
Give you some damage. That's right. That's.
You roll a d6 for me.
a d6.
Yeah.
You go.
My weapon's not as good.
Yeah.
2.
You shouldn't ask Bryce to roll. He's rolling
He's
bad.
got some really bad rolls.
2 plus
1.
3 damage. Beck,
Yes.
you're up.
Roll it.
No, I'm down.
You're dead. Give me a death save. Why not?
Hang on. Is this? No,
No,
this
this
is
is Beck. She's
I'm
down,
sleeping.
almost cut in half.
Yay!
One failed save.
At the end of my turn, I shout, "Watch out for the other 4 as well, or 5 of
So
them."
you're currently, as you yell that, looking around, there's 5 or 4 other ones. They're kind of engaging your smaller squads around the battlefield. You see some over here kind of backed up against the cliff. They all seem to be pretty well holding their ground though. You can already see one down over on the other side of the camp. The other ones, you see them kind of darting up and down, up into the air and steering their way down. But everyone seems to be holding their ground pretty
Deal
well.
with this one now.
Run, you're up. This thing's looking
Okay.
real
Get
rough.
at it.
Yep. Turn around and take your attack at advantage.
Right, no, that's- What's it?
Oh, here you go. Fine.
14 plus 6.
That'll hit. Give me damage.
Emma, if you're not going to eat it, I'm just going to take
Nice.
it.
4.
And that'll do it. So as this thing is turning around, just like kind of dragging its claws out of you,
Yeah, Ellen's eating her dinner.
Buddy.
Are you?
you just hack down into one of its wings, just cleaving all the way through into its chest cavity, and just with a final dying scream, it just collapses at your feet. As you start checking on your companion, suddenly a shadow passes over you, and you look up as a gigantic shape blocks out the sun, and it starts to descend towards you. And as it starts to descend, you can make it more detailed. It's almost spherical in form, about 80 meters across.
Sorry.
Absolutely gigantic, seemingly made of entirely of just 100 sets of wings, all just beating and tearing at the air. Between the chaotically moving wings, you start to make out eyes, just hundreds and hundreds of eyes, blood red and glaring downwards at your tiny force. It appears that the goddess Aurora has arrived and is moving down towards you. So as this humongous orb of wings and glaring death eyes is descending towards you, what would you like to do?
No, orders are
Are we
away,
out
so.
of initiative, or do you still got more room? Pick one.
I see if like we're told to stay here, bait them. So
Yep, that was your order to just hold this thing's attention until the ambush has been sprung.
Yep, that's what we'll do. I'll get the smaller ones as they gather around, and I'll try to do a medicine check on.
Yep,
You
give
did,
me a quick medicine check.
Can I assist? Can we assist?
Excellent.
Sure, yeah, at advantage if
Sweet.
one of you guys wants to, your section medic jumps in.
7 and 13.
13
So
plus
13 plus 1, 14.
14, so yeah, you can quickly staunch the wounds as this thing's descending down, and you quickly just drag her and just piffer into the cover of one of these cliffs.
Hey?
Nummy.
And as you do that,
I'm going
The
to steal
goddess-
her spear.
grab her spear, so you got another
So
spear,
I
so
have a second one. Yeah.
that's right. As
Do you want
you
us
do
to
that,
hold the shield?
the goddess kind of continues her dive down on top of you and just kind of comes to a halt just over the top, about 20 feet above you, and the air is just tearing around you, flinging everywhere, almost forcing you to the ground. You hear just this bitter, mirthless laughter in all of your heads, just laughing, and you just feel your impending death surrounding you as this humongous beast is on top. What would you all like to do?
Can I throw a spear at its eye?
I'm gonna flee.
Somebody execute the coward.
You don't have a ranged weapon. I'm going in the
Dollars.
doors. Off.
So some of you take off running, other ones are you. What do you want to do? You're still alive.
Not now. No. You eat it. No.
No, surrender!
Same cry.
With
You
a
go
bat-
for one eye, I'll go for the other.
With a battle cry, some of your squad jam their spears up into this hovering monstrosity. Another one kind of seems to try to run and get a bit of range to start engaging from a distance. What would you like to do?
Yeah, stay and fight.
Stand fight. So with your long-handled axe, you just leap up in the air with a battle cry and just start trying to slash at this creature. You look around and your other forces have dispatched the Peritons that were coming down around you, and they're now turning their meager weapons onto this humongous beast. As you start to attack, that same horn blast rings in the back of your head. You see a twitch of movement out the corner of your eye as the dirty tents around you seem to rip away. You're not sure if it was from the wind, but then as you look towards it, where it was those tents, and now huge ballistas set up that were hiding in the cover of those, and they start to fire these massive shiny platinum bolts up into the goddess above you, trailing chains into it. At the same time, slabs of rock in the nearby cliff push down, and you see the main orc horde start to just pour out of caves on either side of the encampment. The ground shifts around you as well, even completely under your foot, and you step to the side as one of the orcs that was buried for the last 2 days underneath your encampment just erupts from the ground with just this death cry and just leaps up and starts to stab these jagged hooked spikes into the goddess. And you can see the orc is trailing a heavy thick rope down into the rocks tied onto the ground, and just more and more of these orcs start to peel up out of the ground, climb up with these hooked barbs into the god, trailing ropes, and slowly more and more chains are thrown up and stabbed into this creature. The eyes start to just flash, and wherever she's looking, you just see Sky's character just disappear into just red paste. But yeah, more and more of these spikes just slam up, and you kind of sprint off to the side as the goddess just slams down into the remnants of your camp. More and more chains being thrown over as the orcs just come piling out of the caves.
Do you want the last
Just-
one? You finish that one first, Emma.
Absolutely piling up, just like a swarm of ants over the top of this goddess, just tearing and biting and hacking with axes.
Do you eat more rice?
You see more and more of them, and just kind of just pink misted. Just as soon as one of these eyes glows, another orc just explodes in front of you as you all just start hacking in, chopping off
Who's
wings of this goddess.
falling away now?
You eat your liver.
And
You see
then
the distance
then
away.
suddenly,
In general direction.
you start seeing more and more just bright crimson blood flowing out of the goddess's form, and for a second you think like this is it. The goddess is on her
It's
final
literally that
legs.
snap now.
And then all of the eyes just burst red and start glowing bright, and with just a gigantic blast wave erupts out, and everything just goes black for a second. And then you come to, and you're hurtling through the air just for a second before crunch, you slam into the side of the cliff, and you black out again.
Does he get a good battle wound from this?
Well, it's
No,
pretty.
there's a wily coyote-shaped imprint.
There's definitely an incident to the side of the cliff.
Did I fall on him?
After an unknown time, you kind of open your eyes again, and you wipe your hand across your face. It's just sticky with your own blood. You must have been unconscious for a while, because the blood has almost started to dry across your face. So you kind of
Is that better?
peel it out of your eyes. Looking around, you're high up on one of the ledges overlooking the battle that had been happening below. The gigantic form of Aurora is laying unmoving, covered in chains, rivers of blood pouring out of her into the ground, and just bodies and just piles of mush and just sprays of blood everywhere.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
Since everyone else is dead, I guess I'll go to the last meal and
Let's go wash hands.
like I'm assuming that the whole battlefield's just strewn with dead bodies.
Right, so you want to start to kind of crawl your way down from the cliff. You're currently kind of high up in, about 60 foot, 70 foot high up in one of the cliffs.
Okay,
Want to try to climb down? Sorry?
Any way to walk around it, or just?
Not easily. You can try to climb down or climb your way up. Probably might be easy to climb your way up.
Oh, yeah, you climb up, get a bit of advantage for it. So.
Give me an
I don't have
athletics
anything
check.
higher.
16 plus strength 54, so 50. Actually, I've got efficiency, so plus 6.
Yeah, nice. So easily, you just kind of wipe the blood out of your eyes and have one last glance down the battlefield. Give me a perception check as well, as you get rid of class. Hello, whoever you are, Alacoralos. That sounds like a good name. Yeah, I'm going to write your name down. You're going to become an NPC later on. That's a good name. Alacoralos. Alacoralos, if you're still watching, feel free to, if you want to be a specific NPC, a specific race, let me know and I'll add you into the story later on. What did you roll?
8.
8. Yeah, looking down at the just absolute massacre that is below you, you can't see a single bit of movement. And then you see a couple of specks of movement, but looking closer, they're just ravens starting to, peck at the corpses that are remaining. But, you turn your back on the bloodbath and start just rage climbing your way up. As you get to the... As don't you steal my food, puppy. As you get to the top, you're kind of moving up over the top, and a hand reaches down and grabs onto your wrist and helps drag you up over the top. And in front of you, you see your friend and second in command, Gel Halfstomp, and he kind of helps you up over the top. And he turns to you and kind of looks over your shoulder at the wreckage below, and he's been stationed up here as the lookout and the scout waiting for the goddess to come. And he turns to you and goes, "Well, boss, here's your home back. I don't think we're going to be needing this anymore." And he hands you this just beautiful crafted bronze horn with a leather strap carving the arcane symbols. And this is the signaling horn that he'd been using to signal into your line. So you can add to your inventory the Horn of Silent Alarm.
Ooh.
I'll show you the details later, or you can look it up on D&D.
Blows it just starts flashing red. Silent alarm activated.
It's just no. It flashes a red behind our eyes, but like.
A little red light
Right.
comes on.
Gel kind of looks to you, and he just with a sigh. What are we doing now, boss? Looks like the army's gone. I guess that's it for us. What next?
I guess that's it for us, but we'll head up the tribe, maybe get along with the other tribes.
Back home it is.
Yep.
Alright, let's go. And kind of a shrug, he kind of turns and you two together start leading your way back towards the coast. It's a quiet and somber trip back. Kind of you stop that evening to kind of tend to your wounds and patch yourself up as best as you can. Just try to put the memory of all the rest of your platoon, who is now dead and gone, up in the high mountain passes.
Yeah, we're not pro streamers, but if you like tabletop roleplay, we're still trying to get our camera set up to.
We're getting there. Give us time. We'll have some bit of footage.
It's uplifting.
Yeah.
But try to enjoy it nonetheless. Anyway, so you make your way back down to the coast and buy passage on a small boat, and you make your journey back to your homeland of Neelath. The captain of your small ship is kind of a large burly man with a big black beard. He speaks like a bit of like a pirate. "Oh, lads, you look like you've been in the wars. And, we'll get you home. I'm gonna head back to my home after this one as well." And drops you off on the beaches, and you continue making your way across country back to your home village. It's been a long time, but you're finally back home. You're making your way up the road, and you crest the last rise, and you see your village laid ahead of you in the grasslands. Looks quiet, and from this distance you can't see any movement. What would you like to do?
I guess can't see any movement as in abnormally, or is it just
Give me a perception check.
7 plus 3, 10.
You've been gone for a long time, you haven't seen your village for quite a while. Maybe some of them have moved out and gone to the war, but yeah, you can't see any movement. There's no smoke coming out of any chimneys. It seems very quiet.
So I guess I'll just walk up.
So as you walk up closer, it's quiet. You enter the village and there's just rows of huts lining the central road, the track that continues on through. Looking to your left and right there's no one here. It looks like no one's been here for at least a number of weeks, at least. Give me a survival check.
You
So kind of you're distracted, like you're kind of getting angry. It's like your family should be here. They should be waiting for you. They should be safe. You've been off fighting and drawing the other gods away. But no one's here, and you kind of wander into your hut that was there, and the table is there, and it's kind of a bit smashed up. It looks like there's been a fight here. And you walk back outside and look down across the opposite side of the town where the road leaves. You can see some sort of new construction out there. And as you wander on out of the town, kind of you and Gel together. What?
No, I was like, who are you going with next? Who are you leading into?
No. So yeah, as you and Gel make your way out of the town, you see the new construction, and just lining the edge of the road, crucifixes as far as the eye can see, leading out of the town, off over the distance, over the hills. And on each of the crucifixes, you see an unmoving body nailed to the cross. So you seeing this, you run forward, just madly start scanning the bodies, looking for your family, looking for anyone you recognise. And as you're looking at the bodies, you see each of them, they're nailed through the hands and the feet to the cross. And each of them has just a single slash across their brow line, and their faces just are a curtain of dried blood. They would have died, just blinded by their own blood running into their eyes. And you recognise the method. You've heard of this, the followers of the god of vengeance. This is the way his followers and he sacrificed their victims to power himself. So make an investigation check for me as you're looking across bodies.
Oh, 19 plus.
And looking a few crosses down into the distance, you see a small figure next to a larger adult figure, and a blue sash laid across the chest of the small figure, and you recognise it as your child. And you sprint up to them, and you find your wife and child slumped lifeless on the cross. Aww.
And Ember as well.
And
Oh, bless you.
oh, you smushed some food in your face. Yeah.
There we go.
And
Make it blood.
after the battle with Aurora, you thought that was it. Your war was over. You were done. But with seething rage, you realise your war is not over. It's just beginning again. The god of vengeance did this, and the god of vengeance will pay. So
You are
as you kind of just Gel, he kind of runs off further down, and he sees his own family, and he just with just a primal scream, he just kind of just disappears, running off into the grassland, and you kind of just embracing his orc savagery, you kind of lose yourself in your rage as well.
Sorry.
And you just kind of end up just stalking the land, searching of rumours. A couple of months later, you feel the wave of energy wash through you as the celestial gate closes as the remaining gods flee. But you keep stalking and going through the few remaining villages and towns, talking to whatever trades you can find. And word is that not all the gods left when the gates closed. There's been reports of fresh killings in the same manner around the place popping up. So it seems that your quarry now, the god of vengeance, is still out there, and your battle continues. Dum dum dum!
Stay tuned until next week.
Stay tuned until next week when you meet him right next.
You do it with like that character, what was it from? The
Oh,
Cross?
dun,
Crew?
dun,
The Cross? The Crew? Sort of.
Yeah, good, yeah. It's the sloth.
It's a sloth, yeah. He's like, there is more sauce if you want.
That's not good, I'm slowly eating.
It's still...
Sorry.
Shut that down.
No?
Can do.
Drink both of those.
Yeah, drink
Oh,
both of
please
them.
no.
It's the blood of the mother and child that's been hung.
Oh,
Hang.
Right.
Hang.
Hung?
I'll fix that.
Hang.
People hang.
Oh, well.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Unless
Next-
he hung He hung himself.
Hung himself.
Hang himself.
Hung
Really?
himself.
That too.
Really?
What if the person's holding the
I
picture?
hate it.
I said, if you're being hung, it's like someone's put a hook through the back of your clothes and you just hung up. If you're hanging by the neck.
So that was the introduction of Azzoth Bowl,
I'm glad I didn't use that yet.
the half-orc fighter.
I'm teaching you how to do it.
Well, I'm talking because we're teaching
Who has
even
taken
the
the
verbs.
Oath of vengeance against the god of vengeance, funnily enough.
I love it.
So next up we have Lan, also known as Idrach of Nova Breeze.
No, Febreze. Like Febreze.
No, not for Breeze.
Breeze.
Nova Breeze.
No Febreze.
No Febreze.
So,
you
Idrach.
No Febreze.
The Deicide War has been building over the last few years. More and more gods falling, but so far the fighting hasn't touched your temple. Your temple stands proud in the centre of the sprawling elven city of Nova Breeze, the capital, the elven capital on Neolath. If anything, the war has been great for business for you and your temple. The fighting has resulted in just a constant, continual stream of bodies wrapped in silk and presented with the requisite offering of gold, of course. The mostly elven population of Nova Breeze has shown great love for your goddess, Azzoth, the god of death, the lady of the long silence. So you're currently sitting on your balcony in your almost palatial rooms in your temple complex. The balcony, of course, being the god of death's temple, has no safety rail on it. You embrace death. And, death is a regular occurrence around here. Those spiralling stairs with slightly uneven steps and no safety banisters. Walkways over the top of, 30-meter drops into hard tiles below. It's a precarious but beautiful palace complex of a temple, excuse me.
I don't think this is beautiful, but okay.
It is beautiful. It's just very dangerous. It's a death trap.
Blood smeared across the
For
wall.
the Lady of the Long Silence embraces death, and her followers do as well. So yeah, currently. Also, Star Wars has no safety brass, so I thought very fitting that you picked this god.
Yup.
So yeah, anyway, you're currently sitting on your balcony, kind of overlooking the lights of the city, playing dragon chess at the moment, and mostly ignoring the droning of your old tutor, Magnus. He's currently waffling on something about, trade agreements between Nova Breeze and Azurium. He's probably forgotten it's his turn, honestly. But spread below you are the lights of the city. The low hum of thousands of souls washing over you. You like to sit up here and just kind of watching the humanity below. But the usual hum seems louder tonight. There must be a festival or something in town. Whatever, something's going on down below. Your chamber door swishes open and your mother enters. Amarantha, scion of the god of death, guide of fallen souls. She's beautiful as always. Pale white face, framed by long, beautiful black hair. A faint outline of ethereal wings, kind of giving her a backdrop. Delicate silver jewellery, kind of covering her. And she says, "Idrach, my dear, can you be a dear tonight and look after Paul for me? He's been making men of himself again in the preparation chamber." And she turns and you see a large, burly, bearded fellow with a shaved head, if you want to put your character into here, steps up behind your mother, and he's kind of standing there happily with a bit of a dumb smile on his face. He's holding one of the beautiful silken burial shrouds that are meant to be on the corpses that you prepare for their journey into the afterlife. And he's sitting there happily stroking the soft silken material, just with a big dumb look on his face.
So which one's you again?
So I'm that one.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to go for that one, but okay.
So she said, please just be a dear and just keep him out of trouble for this evening. I've got a lot of work to do. Okay. Thank you, my darling. And Magnus, make sure Idrach doesn't stay up too late tonight. We have a lot of work to do in the morning. We just had a few more bodies come in this afternoon. He says, "Oh yes, of course, my lady. Of course, we're just finishing up the game now. Make an intelligence check for me."
Oh, so you're playing the rich boy with
Yes.
The rich
Yeah.
boy. The entitled fella.
Yes.
So, as kind of Magnus kind of shoves himself to his feet and he, oh. I believe that's checkmate. And you look down and he is well and truly just trounced you. You did not see that move coming and you thought you were onto it. You thought you had him in the next move. Check for sure. Checkmate in 3 turns. And he's just blown your defense wide open. He kind of stands up and
Yes.
I also wrote that before we watched Queen's Gambit. Thank you very much.
This is studying to make sure you had it all right.
Yeah, I'm just studying to make sure I had it right. But he kind of shovels to his feet and starts tidying up. Your mother says, "Thank you, Idrich. I need to go to my room now to sort out some paperwork for tomorrow, but I'll see you in the morning."
See you in the morning.
And she
I'm
kind
going
of-
to toss Paul a ball on the
So,
rainless balcony.
you start, just keeping him occupied, tossing the ball backwards and forwards. Magnus starts kind of wandering around, just tidying up and...
Person? No.
Yeah, Paul
This
is...
is Paul.
This is Paul. He's quite a large, hulking sort of figure. Shaved head. He's very, very muscular. A bit of a
because he
horn,
said
big
you were
beard.
tossing him a ball. I'm like, did I get it wrong? Was he a dog?
He's about the intelligence of a dog.
Alright, yeah, I'm
So you see, he's kind
understanding.
of trying to hold his silk rag in one hand and trying
So
to
he's
catch
got
with the other. He's
eyeball.
kind of chasing off.
Oh, no.
You beat you at chess though.
And
No.
Magnus beats him at chess. So far, Paul hasn't said anything so far. He's just happily kind of just running around with a dump grin, chasing the ball.
Look at the door.
Hold the ball.
Pull the ball!
Hold the ball. Hold the ball. Stop drowning.
But eventually, Magnus waves the two of you inside, and he closes the doors and finishes tidying up. But as he's tying up the last few bits and pieces, and he stacks his books back into the shelf, you hear the noise from outside. The usual noise of the city is usually getting quieter at this time of night, but it's growing. The rumble is growing, and it's almost turned into a roar now. It's getting louder and louder, and you and Magnus walk along and kind of open up and walk out onto the precarious balcony and look over the edge, and you can see crowds of people now rushing up, approaching the outside walls, and as you watch, they rush in through the open gates of the temple, the welcoming gates of the temple, cutting down the guards standing there. Their blood sprays over the pristine white walls. And in that same blood and in other paint that they start to bring out, they start painting something onto the walls, and Magnus kind of rubs his eyes and he looks closer and he goes, "That's celestial seals. They're coming for the goddess. What do we do?"
Mother, no, I must warn her. I'm going to rush to my mother's study.
Right, so you kind of rush out the door and Magnus comes shuffle running behind Paul, kind of looking dumb, kind of with his arm through Magnus's arm, kind of happily running along, going on this next adventure that he's excited for. So you race your way to your mother's room. So you're running through the corridors, the beautiful, pristine white corridors of the complex, over a couple of precarious air bridges and up a few flights of stairs to your mother's room, and you throw open the door and rush inside. It's a huge, luxurious space, a beautiful four-posted bed with silken curtains, intricately carved cupboards and bookshelves, and a small table with a mirror and your mother's jewellery box and some of her equipment on. But look around, your mother isn't there.
Mummy's gone missing.
Where do I think she's likely to
As you're looking around, next to the table with the jewellery box on it, you click, and a panel that you didn't realise was there opens up, and a small face peeks out of the dark corridor within. This pale face. You instantly recognise her as being Ariana, one of your fans, who she shouldn't be allowed access to the temple, But somehow she just always seems to pop her way up in the temple.
She knows all the secret passages.
Yeah,
I just figured it out.
You swear like she just appeared in your room sometimes at night. It's a little bit creepy, but she seems to really like you. So,
Are you my mummy?
but her kind of face seems to be almost floating in the darkness inside. And she kind of motions you to come over. And as she's motioning you, you hear a crash. A loud sound out of the corridor, and the door opens in a burst of splinters, and you see 5 people in civilian clothes rush inside. And they go, "There he is! The Godblood! Cut him down!" What would you like to do?
I cast Mage Armor.
So, as you pull out your leather thong for your spell casting, you just feel your celestial blood surge through you. You're linked to the Lady of the Long Silence strong in this house of worship. And as you cast Mage Armor, this powerful force field just encompasses you. At the same time, these just glowing white and golden wings spring from your back, and your eyes just turn pale white. You just feel this blood power just throwing through you. What would you like to do as these people kind of just like take a back step as they're just like awed by this power just emanating off of you in waves?
Flee, mortal fools! You cannot stand against my power. There are but 5 of you, and I have the strength of 10 men, for my cause is just.
You see kind of Paul stand up next to you just like standing there with his hand on the hips. Give me an intimidation check with advantage. Should be a decent modifier at least. 11.
It's at least 15.
That'll be enough. So as you're kind of standing there, just this shimmering force field of armor, these huge gold and white wings off your back, and just roaring out. And your voice almost seems to turn into like a tritone as you're talking, as the power of your goddess flows through. And these people just kind of break and just run out through the door. And while you think you've got rid of them for now, you can hear more and more people. You can hear just a roar building up in their corridor outside.
Quick, Paul, we're going to play hide and seek. Get into that cupboard.
You highlight.
So as Paul rushes past you, kind of knocks over your table, and your mother's jewellery box just goes kind of clattering onto the floor, some of it spilling out, and Paul kind of...
Shiny.
Paul, go. I'll sort this.
Yar!
I'm going to start gathering up jewellery and anything that looks valuable.
Alright, give me a investigation or perception check. Just kind of quickly have a glance around and see. It's kind of scattered all over the place a little bit.
That would be 10.
10? Right, you managed to find one of your mother's silver and diamond rings worth 25 gold pieces. You try to grab a necklace that you can see, but it kind of, as you go to grab it, it drops down into the crack into the door. Crack. But you do see one of your mother's wands. It's a intricately carved wooden wand with grinning faces embossed in silver all down the side of it. So you pick up the ring and the wand.
Making certain that the other 3 are in the tunnel before me.
And yeah, so Magnus kind of rushes past you and kind of hobbles his way through, and Ariana is just waiting at the door. Just, come on. Oh, my big, strong, brave Idrach. You really should, didn't you? Oh, you're so powerful.
Quick, you go. I'll close the door.
Okay.
Look at Paul.
Leads her way off, and as you slide the hatchway closed, it's pitch black in here. You with your dark vision, you can kind of just now make out everything in just
I'm going to
grey,
press the
different
ball on his ball to keep him happy.
That's good, because he was about to start fucking tripping over. So, yep, you reach out and touch the small ball that Paul has in his hand and starts glowing. He's like, ooh. And kind of Magnus, kind of seeing this, he's like, come on, let's go. and you start rushing your way through the dark corridors leading upwards and downwards. And after about 10 minutes, you kind of slow your pace a little bit, and poor old Magnus is kind of hobbling and wheezing and panting, and he's struggling to keep up. And you come to a flight of stairs leading up a little bit. What would you like to do?
What's at the top of the stairs? I ask. My helpful companion knows these tunnels really well.
Ariana turns to you.
This is just another flight. We should be about halfway out into the city now. If we follow up here and take a right, then miss 3 turns, and we take a left and then go straight again for another 500 meters, and we take another right and we go down the 3 flights of stairs and then up another flight of stairs. It will take us out into the woods just outside of town. Oh, we'll be safe. I'll be safe with you, Mike. That strong brains.
You lead the way. Paul will come with you, and I'll help Magnus.
Oh, you're so glorious helping out the old man. Oh.
And she kind of links your arm in with Paul, and he's just like, ooh, and starts kind of wandering on up the stairs, and she kind of just keeps glancing over her shoulder at you. This is kind of the first time that you've engaged her in so much conversation, it seems. Most of the time you're kind of just like, put the weird groupie off to the side a bit. She's a little bit too clingy to the lightning.
So this is just a chick.
This is my groupie.
This is groupie.
Okay.
Is she half elven?
She's half elven.
Half elven.
I'm basically like Adonis.
Yeah.
Like sort of almost physical perfection.
Yeah. He's just, tall, just muscles,
He's
just glorious, just beautiful flowing hair. What colour are your eyes?
They are silver.
I'm
Silver,
just getting
silver,
to the
metallic silver.
rich
Metallic silver
kid,
eyes.
like the American one
Yeah.
with the...
Fabio flowing hair.
Sorry.
As he pauses, a breeze comes down and just like blows his hair gloriously behind him.
So
His
it's
cape.
more Michelangelo's David than modern bodybuilder.
Okay, yeah.
Almost literally in terms of my skin is that sort of marble alabaster, clearly not quite.
Oh, so he's marble to my green.
Granite.
Here, some dirt.
Anyway, so the two of them head off ahead, kind of gaining a little bit of ground, and you see the light disappear off into the distance. You help Magnus kind of up the stairs, and he's, oh, thank you, Master. I think I'll be okay. Just my whole legs just aren't up to this anymore. But you continue working. It kind of flattens out, and you can kind of follow ahead of you the light ducking, weaving, and following the corridors through. And after another about half an hour of this underground movement, you've slowed your pace a little bit so Magnus can keep up. But you emerge into a small copse of trees up on the top of a hillside. And you turn around and you can see the lights of the city spread below you, and it looks like you're about a kilometre outside the city walls, and you can see your temple now. You've been outside the city and kind of beholding your temple at night. Usually it's just beautiful, resplendent white and lit up with magical lights. Now it's lit up by fires as they're starting to spread, and you look at your bedroom, you can recognise your tower from here, and fire and smoke is starting to curl out from your room.
No, my stuff!
And as you stare at your home, you can see it's just being overrun. You see just shadows and people and just swarms of movement running around it. And then with a sudden, as counterintuitive as it is, a sudden flash of darkness just erupts from it. And the fires just blink out. And you see this just wall of darkness growing, and it just rapidly builds into a sphere that's just growing and growing, rolling over the city. Behind it just leaving just pure blackness, every light snuffed out. Fires just extinguished. This black sphere grows, rolling over the city, lights snuffing out in its wake. And as you're standing there, you can hear the rumble and the roar of the people in the city, and it's just getting quieter and quieter and quieter. And the wave hits the city walls and keeps coming up towards you, starting to climb up to the hill. What would you like to do?
I stand sort of silhouetted against the sky and just watch it come.
Ariana kind of just like holds onto your arm, like looking at you and looking at you. She goes,
Will you keep me safe, Idris? Will you save us all?
I'm not Idris. Idris is the dog.
Idrach. That's gonna
No, please don't call
incredibly
it
confusing. You're now Idrach.
You keep me safe.
Trace, no,
Yeah, it's your own fault. It's too close to your
I
dog.
didn't think of that.
You have to pronounce the names out loud before you think. So she's standing there and this just wave of darkness rolls up the hill.
Stay with me. I'll look after you.
And just before it gets to you, it just kind of stops. It's just sitting there just a couple meters in front of you, this just solid wall of just shadow and darkness. And as you kind of look at it, you can see these faces like pushing out of it and then pulling back in, and hands clawing at this dark wall that starts to become opaque and then transparent and thinning out until it's just almost imperceptible. Just this flickering, just necrotic black energy.
Big spell.
And your wings, which had been poking out behind you, you can just feel them just feathers just start peeling out your wings, and then your wings just kind of dissolve into dust, and your just powerful bolster force field just kind of shrinks down to almost an imperceptible layer of magic over your skin. And as you look at this, you just look at these just shadowed faces just grimacing in just twisted pain, just silently screaming. You feel your connection to the Lady of the Long Night is severed, and you realise that she's dead, and probably by the feel of it and the silence resounding in front of you, probably everyone in the city is dead.
Long eons, even death may die.
So kind of, you stop and you kind of look around at the faces of your small party, and they're all looking towards you, looking to your guidance. And you think, no, not your party, your congregation, your disciples,
Like worshippers.
his worshippers.
Oh, God.
And you turn your back on the lifeless husk that is now Nova Breeze, looking out over the expansive plains and forests and mountains of the continent. And you just think to yourself,
A new god shall rise.
there's a spare seat of panther ready for this new god. And there's plenty more followers out there. And you walk your way down off the other side of the hill
Private school boys.
towards your glorious destiny to come.
You not kill gods? I'm gonna become one. Raise your ambition, people.
Emmy.
Also, the one that you picked up,
Got these ones.
One smiles.
the one that smiles,
I love
which
it.
I'll let you tell everyone else what that does later on, or you can tell them now if you like.
Make you smile. And there's nothing you can do about
There
it.
is a saving throw for it. It's quite a low saving. It's only 10, but still, it'll just force you to smile.
I feel like this is going to be used on Geo a lot.
Remember, it's got 3 charges.
Oh, okay.
Per day, I think.
Oh,
Yep, per day. Where are we? Regains all charges at the dawn of every day. If you use your last charge, you have to roll a d20. On a 1, it turns into the Wand of Scowls. That makes you scowl for a minute and be really angry.
Where's your boss? Where's your boss?
So your mother used to use this to kind of cheer up some of the more disgruntled families as they were coming in, and they weren't celebrating the death as they should have been doing. So your mother kind of liked to help them to celebrate the lives instead of mourn their passing.
But does it make them cheer up or just makes them
Oh, it just makes them smile, but
They
there's a psychological thing of, like, if you're sad and you smile, it just kind of
it uplifts
naturally,
you.
like, uplifts you. They've done studies about that.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Being forced to smile.
Yeah, but like that's it. Like
Being
it's
forced to smile, maybe not.
So they'll be dying on the inside while happy on the outside.
Let's put a smile.
Next time I have a fight, I'm going to do that.
Oh god, it's very...
And then I'll punch you in the
Yes, I think you just used the smile wand on yourself.
Do you want to know how I got these?
And last up, we have Ellen. Anyone watching? That was
Try not
Lamb
to
or
smile.
Idrach?
Try.
Not Idrach of Know the Breeze.
That's 3 times.
The Asima sorcerer.
Emma,
Hooray!
who's that?
Who's that?
Who's on the screen?
Wave! It's you! Wave!
Who is it?
Oh, she's shy. You gone shy, have you?
Don't believe it for a second.
Oh, hello, puppy.
So,
What's her name?
Mysterious.
Emzy.
Esme.
Esme? Esme. Would you like to describe
Esme.
yourself? Esme.
Exit.
No, it's not Empress New Groove.
No.
Would you like to describe yourself?
X-May on this.
You're still a fairly young version of yourself right now.
X-May.
Okay.
That's what someone says.
How old were you intending on being? Young. Done.
Yes. Sure.
You're kind of like 15 years old, 16 maybe.
Yeah.
You're a teenager at the moment.
Yes.
Don't look a teenager. Like,
Like
totally.
totally.
Oh my god.
All baby girls, not teenagers.
Tell us what you look like. So you currently, I'll tell you where you currently are while you think of this. You're currently standing outside in the corridor of the High Priestess's office, waiting to be summoned within. You've been in this situation way too many times.
Uh-oh.
I'm.
What species are you first?
So I'm hex-blooded, but I mostly look like a human.
Yeah, you're pretty. You look like human.
Yeah.
It doesn't
That's
tell
a beauty
I-
swatch.
I grew it specially. All the other priestesses in my class have many warts and
Oh, so you're the most beautiful.
grown. No, it's a
Oh,
badge
the
of
other
honour to have
Oh,
warts
okay.
and disfigurements, and I just can't.
Yeah, Greg's got one.
It's a beauty spot.
I can't do it. I've got
Anyway, so
one.
as you're kind of standing there in your kind of simple acolyte robes, High Priestess calls out, Esme, get in here, girl. You open the door and step inside. The High Priestess is sitting behind her desk,
Oh, you're getting
just sitting there, kind of just flipping a coin and catching it, just staring at you. I hear you've been at it again. Open your bag, girl. Put it on the table.
What are
Do
you?
you?
Klepto.
She's sitting there just flipping a coin, casually, just absent-mindedly.
She's gonna be another one of
Grudgingly.
mine.
Yes.
So as you kind of sheepishly put your satchel on the desk and open it up, a small white bunny rabbit just boink, boink, hops its way out. And the High Priestess just
I can explain.
holding her head. You can see that migraine is just coming on.
Oh no. Or she has nothing else to say.
Esme, what are we to do with you? You can't keep releasing the blood sacrifices. It's going to cause problems.
But we don't. Just because it's called for hair, a foot of hair, it doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be this one. I mean, look at him, he's so cute. He's so fluffy.
Look, if you keep releasing them, the goddess is going to be upset. There's only so many. This is a very specially bred rabbit, and there's now quite a wild population in the temple grounds. Look, you just can't just keep.
Especially red now.
All right. She flips the coin up higher and
What's
kind
the
of
stack?
catches it with a finality in her palm. Just stares at you for a moment and kind of opens her palm and just kind of looks at the coin and then
How big can you make
pockets
it?
it.
How many is that?
All right, Esme. Here's what we're going to do with you. I believe a mission, a quest for the church will set your mind right.
I can do a quest. Anything for the goddess.
Okay, good. The goddess of chance will, I'm sure, smile kindly on your quest and help you succeed and help you get your mind in the right place. So we have a scholar living out in the Lisana forest. He's been doing some research for us. And
Max takes university.
while he's a genius, he also gets distracted. So I need you to go to this university, as he calls it, and take care of Maximus Tastus. Allow him to spend more time focusing on his studies. So you take care of him and his university. Now, off you go and pack, and I'll have a guard pack some travelling equipment
That's
for you.
crazy. Yeah, no branding in here.
Kindly not sponsored.
Happy to.
Maximus
be sponsored.
Tastus.
Official University of Neolath.
That is our new ad.
Please sponsor me.
Campaign.
So she kind of looks at you and goes,
Absolutely.
You want more?
Head priestess, you won't regret this.
Oh, I'm sure I won't. Now, get out. Get out. I'll see you some other time, I'm sure of it.
No.
so you kind of hop outside and head back to your dormitory where you share with your other various acolyte sisters. And you pack your few belongings. There's few and far between. And you're met a short time after by a stern-faced guard. And he hands you a pack with a bedroll, a few days' rations, flint and steel, just your basic sort of travelling gear. He says, here's your map, sister. I've plotted your route on here. It's about 3 days' travel. So it just needs you when you leave the gates, head west for a few hours until you get to the main road.
Okay.
Then, head south for a day and a half, you come to a turn-off. Got it?
Okay.
Then head east for another day, and you'll arrive. Nice and simple. I'm sure you're going to be fine.
Quick question.
Yes.
Which way's west?
Okay.
So, west. Then
No, look, you just pointed the wrong direction. West.
West.
Yes. Okay.
Then,
See, on the map, you're here,
okay,
down here,
down there.
down here, down there. There you go. It's all signposted.
Okay,
The road should be safe.
okay.
It's patrolled by guards regularly. I'm sure it will be fine. I'm sure you'll be fine.
I can do this. I can do this.
I'm sure you can. And he kind of starts nudging you along and
What
leads you
if I forget? I mean,
as he's still leading you along. You keep kind of petering off, and he's just like, "Oh, just keep moving. And he not roughly but firmly moves you out through the gates of the temple. He goes, I'm sure you'll be fine, sister, and closes the gates with a bit of finality. Not a slam, but finality. What would you like to do?
I don't have the bunny. Do I have the bunny?
You don't have the bunny.
Grab the bunny off the grounds.
She's outside of the grounds now.
Oh.
Okay.
Lock on the
Right.
door.
I forgot my bunny.
Well,
What's that then?
I
Chunk, you hear a bar close on the gate behind you.
The footsteps receding.
onwards.
So as you onwards start setting off into the forest, you hear
It's a classic.
the flapping of wings in amongst the trees, and hear a hook, 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 and coming out from amongst the trees
Gonna have it.
just comes careening from you as a cute small flying monkey coming out through the branches and almost crash lands into your shoulder, nearly knocking you over. Hook, hook.
It's a book. Yeah. I was gonna say yeah.
Oh my god, how so cute!
And it's the flying monkey. You've seen him around quite a few times. And you've taken to feeding him on your balcony. He kind of flies up and
Not on the table.
he seems to have taken a liking for you, and he's happily kind of just perched on your shoulder. And he starts just kind of picking through your hair, just starts pushing little twigs into your hair.
I'm fine with this. I give you
And
that.
he's like,
You come with me. I will call you Gertie. Come on, Gertie.
so as you set off with Gurgi on your shoulder, he's happily sitting there, just kind of occasionally he just flaps away and comes back with a couple bits of fruit and hands you an apple, and he just nom 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 spits seeds into your hair. Nom, 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 nom,
Yeah, and I
nom, nom.
have like adult trees growing.
Yeah, he seems to be happy. He just kind of flies off and then flitters back again. He's getting better at landing on your shoulder, but each time he comes into land, you're just like, woof, kind of knocked almost sideways. You're not the largest of person, and this monkey, well, small, is still a flying monkey. But your journey is uneventful. The road's quiet. Every few hours, a patrol of mounted guards comes past, sometimes keeping pace with you for a bit and kind of just looking along and just asking you, have you seen any trouble on the road, lassie?
No, sir. No, sir. Not me, sir.
Alright, that's good. You keep out of trouble. And they kind of trot off the other direction. But other than that, you don't see anything. The nights are cold, and you're not used to being out of the temple. Not used to living under the stars, but with your friend to keep you company and your bedroll, you're not comfortable, but you survive the nights. But after a few days, your destination comes into sight. You'll be journeying through just ever increasingly dense forest. So right now you've been walking through just these huge redwood forests, just massive trees. You haven't seen the sun for the last day as the canopy is just enclosed over the top and blocking it out. So this is Lesana Forest. And ahead of you there's a little bit of a clearing, and you see a small cottage with a wisp of smoke drifting from the chimney. And an old man is sitting there raking leaves away from the path leading to the front door. What would you like to do?
I would like to go up to him and ask, excuse me, sir? I'm looking for Maximus Tastus.
Tastus.
Maximus Tastus.
What does Maximus say?
Yes. This is your Max Taste. How can I help you?
You broke it.
This is impromptu.
Yeah, no, I intentionally didn't word him up.
It's a great university, as you can see.
I've been sent here by High Priestess of my order to give you assistance. I'm on a quest, you know.
Oh, yes. You go in and make me some tea.
I can do this. This is a fine quest. Come on, Gertie.
And so you kind of settle into life here at the University of Max Taste. We settle into a routine of cleaning, cooking, raking, and before long you also start to engage in some of the study and the research that Maximus is engaging in. And you actually kind of take rapidly to the study. Turns out you're a bit of a natural. I don't know if it's your kind of just natural magical blood from your whoever was your parents. Maybe it's just Maximus, he's a fantastic teacher. But he starts teaching you the basics of wizarding. He even pulls down one of his old beat up spell books, mostly empty for you to start using as your own. It has one extra spell in there. Actually, what level is that spell? Maybe not. Expeditious Retreat. What level is Expeditious Retreat?
Level 1.
It is level 1? Yeah, good, perfect. If your Richmond needs it. But, so you start to study, and you start to get pretty damn good at magic. You're starting to get the basics. And Maximus is clearly a good teacher. But he buries his head in his studies, and he's getting some good studying done now that he's not having to worry about raking and cooking and making his tea. But a year goes by and you don't hear anything from the High Priestess. They must just be too busy to send a replacement.
Or reply to any of my letters, presumably.
They've been sending off letters. Occasionally, a trader comes by and shares a few rumours, takes your letters back, and you kind of always see him come in. You wait at the front window, and they never seem to have any letters for you. Occasionally, letters come from Maximus. He sends away his notes occasionally. You hear rumours of this giant war building, this Deicide war, of the gods being attacked, but Out in your isolated cottage in the middle of this huge, dense forest, you seems to be beyond the reach of the fighting. It seems to be quite peaceful. One morning, the next morning after Maximus receives a letter, he comes to you. He says, "Oh, Esme, my dear, may I ask a favour of you?
Certainly, Maximus.
I've organised to trade a specific book from the Legion. They have an outpost east of here. It's not far, but the old legs, they wouldn't fare too well on the road. Could you take this book to them?" And he hands you a book. "And trade it for the treaties of Archmage Bartholomew on planar cross-regional energy transfer.
Yes, certainly.
It should only take you about 2 days with your young whippersnapper legs. Just head straight down the forest road, cross the river, and make your way to the coast. You can't miss it. You've been to the coast?"
No.
"Oh, it's beautiful. I'm sure it's probably lovely anyway. Lots of birds there. Weird birds. Anyway,
It's outside the forest.
well, the forest kind of continues up to the coast, but there's a small clearing and we had to find find Eastwatch. It's the Shining Legion's outpost on the eastern coast here.
Okay.
I'm sure you do fantastically. Make sure you take care of this book.
And you look at the front of the book. It's titled the Incomplete Histories of Deals with Primus.
I can get your clothes peg if you want.
So you pack your travelling bag and make sure the book is wrapped up nice and securely in some wax paper and head out. Your first day is uneventful. Partway through your second day though, towards the end of the day, you hear rushing water ahead of you and kind of hear some other sounds, and you start to kind of sneak your way up, and the road kind of hooks to the side, and you kind of peek your way around one of the large redwood trees, and you hear more noises above the rushing water. And as you peek around, you see a narrow but well-made sturdy stone bridge, and on the bridge there's small 3 figures, one slightly larger than the others, just leaping around and pushing each other, and occasionally the big one kicks the small ones. What would you like to do?
On your face. Is there any way? Do I have to cross this bridge?
Looking next to the bridge is just a ravine. You can't see how deep it is from here, but you can just see it drop off, and you can hear rushing water going underneath it.
Okay. Feeling quite scared. So I'm gonna go up to them and go.
And they all pull out these just like nasty, rusty-looking scimitars.
Whoa. No, come in peace. Vegan.
You!
Vegan.
We've never heard of her.
This is the large one.
Come on.
Where's Vegan? Vegan!
No. Don't eat me. Not a threat. Peaceful. I just need to cross the bridge.
Pay toll!
But I don't have any money.
Pay arms!
No.
They start coming towards you. What would you like to do?
I'm not. Run away.
So you turn and bolt back behind the back into the redwoods and kind of turn and you see him kind of back onto there. Well, what spells do you have? Tell us what spells you got.
I have. I'm just trying to pull my book. What spells do I have? What spells do I have? I have Firebolt, Shocking Grasp, Thunderclap, Disguise Self.
Could be nice. What do you think of disguising yourself, hey? These, you've heard of these things, they're goblins. They're renowned for not being smart. You're pretty smart.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could outsmart them.
I reckon I could outsmart them.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm going to cast Disguise Self and make myself look like a goblin. Or a rough approximation of a goblin. I reckon I want this.
Yep. Slightly taller. Bit slightly taller.
slightly taller goblin.
Done. Alright, so you kind of wave your. What's it look like when you cast Disguise Self?
Yeah, so I kind of I've got to think really hard about it. Like I'm trying to do a really big move. And then
Concentration, isn't it?
She turns into a Wookiee.
I've gone from being, you know, about a middle-sized, gangly sort of
Girl.
teenager. My ears have gotten bigger. My nose has got deformed. So I look like if someone were to describe a goblin to you out of a book without having seen one, I would look like that.
So you
So yeah, you're bigger, you're even more evil looking, like you're just a vicious looking goblin from some of the fairy tales you've had.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
a little green hag.
And you
thing.
walk out back in front of them,
Yes.
looking like this, just like you now look like a bigger, meaner, more vicious goblin. And you see, like they're kind of like, oh,
Yes.
Shit, I really should have brushed up on goblin.
you do know they were talking common to you
You're
before.
more.
Yes. Speak common.
Where are you from? You
Far.
never relax.
Okay, it was one of those vessels where you put the other one.
What do you want? You can't have our toll money.
Don't want you told buddy. Want to get across for
Oh.
fighting the big uns.
Oh, yeah. We just killed one of them.
Oh, brilliant.
You want to have a stab? You want to go give it a stab?
No, I want my own.
Oh. All right, yours. We're going to go kick him around in a while anyway.
Great. See you.
Wait. Have you seen a young human-looking girl? Yeah, she's like this tall.
I suddenly felt crouched down a bit more.
Very pointy hat.
Take that off.
Well, no, your hat is also disguised. It disguises the clothes.
No, I like that as well, though.
Right, then you take your hat off.
Yeah, I scared her off, I did. Yes, she ran away.
Yeah,
Scared.
sure. Missing
Yeah.
us goblins, eh?
Yeah, that would do her. Anyway, gotta go.
All right.
You kind of give me a deception check with advantage because you look like a goblin.
He's one. He's one. 14.
17 plus.
Plus your charisma.
Plus charisma. How do I know my charisma is?
Is this D&D Beyond?
Charisma plus 1.
How much you're proficient in? What's your proficiency?
Scroll down.
Skills in deception? Probably not for a wizard generally, but you never know. No, cool. So yeah, that's your plus one.
So 18.
18, that's good because they rolled a 15 minus 2 for their intelligence to see through your cunning ruse. So they seem to be like,
Yeah, you go show those big uns.
Yeah.
Oh, wait here. Make sure we don't kill all of them, Will. We're vicious. You'll kill them as well.
you are.
Stay here and guard this bridge.
Oh, yes.
And as you kind of lift your hand up, they kind of recoil back down a bit, like kind of giving way to the larger, more dominant goblin.
Yes.
You kind of rapidly make your way across the bridge. On the other side of the bridge, you actually see a pile of corpses. You see 7 goblins and 1 human. Apparently, the big one that they took on, it was a bit of a fight, but they didn't fare too well. And their pack of 10 is now down to a pack of 3. But you see that the human is just covered in slashes and pincushioned by arrows, but they're just surrounded by just a pile of dead goblins. So give me a roll a perception or investigation check, whichever one's better.
Good wow.
Ella's busy enough.
Investigation.
Go for it.
12.
The fire's out?
Not the worst, so looking around, you can see a whole bunch of footprints. Looks like they kind of swarmed this dude, and he's come running out from the forest. But looking at his footprints, he's a fairly small human-looking dude, but his footprints are massive. You swear they'd be a Goliath or a full-blooded orc footprints. Yeah. Odd. Just something not quite right about this body. Look at the body. He's got just a basic sort of brown robe. No weapons on him. It looks like maybe the goblins have stolen his weapons. He's got a really nice pair of boots on him, but on that he's just cut to shreds. Yeah, what would you like to do?
Can I go round?
Sure can. So he's kind of just off to the side of the body of the road. Looks like you've been trying to cross the bridge.
Okay.
And the road continues on uneventful past him and his dead pile.
And his really nice boots.
They do look pretty comfy.
Oh, okay.
They're red, that helps.
They are red. They're a beautiful pair of
Ooh.
just a dull red, but a very nice kind of finish red boots. They weren't, but they're now red.
The wicked witch.
Seen the model.
Did you like his boots?
I would like.
Well, no, she's technically this.
So as you start pulling his boots off, the goblins turn and be like,
Oh yeah, his boots. Yeah, they'll show big and yeah, his boots.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal his cloak.
and as you rip his boots off, they kind of just come scuttling up and like they start taking his cloak off of him as well. And you see the medium-sized one just like strutting around.
Oh, look at me, I'm a human.
And just kind of impersonating this human, and he's like,
I've been shot.
pretending to fall down, and the other ones start like kicking him, and he's just like,
Emma.
he's literally wearing this coat, so now he's on the ground as the other goblins like now kicking him on the ground.
Stop.
What's she up to?
Emma, come over here.
I was trying to put something on TV. She's
Ellen-
notified us that the
Ellen's
movie had
busy.
ended.
Oxden.
It ended 20 on
Oxden.
But as you make your way from these squabbling and violent, insane goblins, the rest of the trip seems to be pretty uneventful. The forest is thinned out a bit, but it's still quite thick and large. That's what she said. So as you're moving, you make your way, and you can start to smell salt and hear the cry of seagulls, and you step off into a large clearing. And you assume this is the coast that you've heard tell of, with this strange smell and these strange birds around. And looking out ahead of you on this kind of raised outcropping, you see just this fairly small but powerfully built fortress. Just dark stone walls built up from almost growing out of the basalt stone outcropping. Thick walls about 20 foot high, surrounding a massive square tower at least 8 stories tall. And a few outbuildings kind of within the curtain wall. A narrow stone ramp leads up to a small portcullis and gateway, and a large burly guard stands at the entrance off ahead of you, just wearing this resplendent golden plate armour, a large halberd in one hand.
Okay.
And kind of, what would you like to do?
Am I still looking like a goblin?
No. So this is a few hours later. It would have worn
So it
off by
has
now.
worn
So you're back to your normal teenage girl self.
So, yeah, I'm gonna hail in with blue.
As you kind of go to wave your arm, you feel a tap on your shoulder, and where no one was a second ago, you swear, and you kind of turn around with a start, and there's a woman standing behind you. She's a bit taller than you, but still quite not massive. And you swear she wasn't there a minute ago, but she's got kind of short, cropped brown hair, dark skin, and seems to have been stained with some sort of pigments and to blend into the forest. A cloak hangs off of her shoulder, now open, and as you watch, it's kind of twisting and blurring and matching the colour behind her as she steps up. A finely crafted short bow and a quiver of arrows and a sabre hang at her belt. She goes, "Oh, hello, traveller. I'm Alva, Dusk Legion, Delta Company. Esme, I presume.
Holy crap. Yes!
We've been expecting you. Come on inside."
Follow me.
She kind of just steps off next to you and starts leading you up this narrow ramp towards this large, burly guard. And as she kind of starts walking, she kind of stands up taller, and she's actually fairly tall. She's about 6 foot tall, wiry, strong build. Looks like she could hold her own in a fight. As you get close to this guard with the just resplendent golden armor, he just kind of turns his head to you, but he doesn't take his eyes off the forest behind and just kind of gives you a nod. You look at his eyes and they're just golden orange, just almost glowing orange eyes. He just gives you a bit of a nod and continues watching the forest.
Nice and pretty.
He just kind of grunts, keeps watching, scanning the forest, just very professional. And the door opens up a crack, and you and Alva move in, and she leads you down a few corridors into a small guest room. And she says,
Oh, you can rest here for the night before heading back tomorrow. Here's the book. Give me a moment. She kind of fetches it down off of the shelf. This is for Maximus. Do you have the book that he sent for us?
I do, yes.
rummage through and take it out of your pack. She picks it up.
Oh, you've taken good care of it. Well, thank you for that. I'll be sure this is transported to the Archmage General nice and quickly, so thank you very much. Take care of this other book. It's quite a rare collection. I'll bring you down some dinner soon if you like. You look hungry.
Thank you.
She kind of...
no meat. Sorry, no meat.
Of course.
No dairy.
No eggs.
Of course, we can do
Oh,
that.
sorry, no eggs either.
No cheese.
Would you like something for your companion on your shoulder there?
And you realise, like, you've almost kind of forgotten that this monkey is sitting there just like...
It's not like all the way through the goblin encounter.
No, he got flying up.
Please.
Well, get him some bananas.
Yep.
I actually have some of those from the coastal trader that came by a while ago.
Fantastic.
Had a big beard.
So you kind of rest up and she comes back with a bowl of hot water to kind of wash your hands in, and some nice simple food, kind of some roast vegetables, lots of potatoes, but simple but good quality hearty food. And you kind of just spend the evening having a nice chat with this Alva lady, and she explains that she's one of the scouts of the Dusk Legion, the Dusk Legion of the Shining Legions. And yeah, you have a pleasant evening, eat some food, and kind of she takes a liking to your monkey, and your monkey kind of just like hops onto her shoulder every so often. She kind of gives him a scritch and bits of banana, and but you settle down for the evening and get a good night's sleep in the simple but comfortable bed in there. And the next morning, Alva shows you out, and I'll escort you as far as the bridge, but then you'll have to make your own way there. I'll make sure you stay safe on the way, though. And she kind of gives a nod to the guard at the door, and you've seen a whole bunch of the other armored figures kind of just moving around. The guard changing over, and they're all these just huge hulking figures, kind of 6'6", 6'7", broad shoulders, all just shining golden armor. These pure orange eyes. And with a wave, she kind of waves you off as you start walking down the road, and she just kind of disappears off into the forest, paralleling the road. And as soon as you blink, she's kind of disappeared. She could be invisible for all you know of, but she's gone.
Nice.
But you start to make your way back towards the Goblin Bridge. And as you're getting just beforehand, you hear once more ahead.
So is Alva going to help me cross the bridge?
Look around. Do you want us to try to find Alva?
Yes. Alva!
Yes?
She's behind you on the opposite side of the road.
Don't do that!
You appear to have some friends on this bridge ahead. Is that a body up there?
Yeah. Listen, I managed to sneak past them earlier, but is there any chance you could distract them so that I can cross the bridge without them noticing?
I'm sure I could. I won't kill them. we don't try to mess with mortals. I'll distract them out of the way.
And she kind of just casually walks outside, out through the rock, the forest, and just pulls this saber out, and just starts walking towards them, just glaring at them. Just starts running this saber along the road, and she just starts sprinting at them, faster and faster.
They jump down the
And
ravine.
they just kind of just scream and just bolt into the forest as she just takes off, chasing off after them.
Cheers, thanks!
And as you kind of run past, she kind of just stops and turns around and, with a wave, kind of waves to you and looks at the human body and throws it up over her shoulder and gives you a wave, resheaths the sword and starts heading away back towards the East Watch Tower.
Yep, not creepy at all. Did Ellen take the boot? Did you take the
Yeah,
boot?
she took the
Okay,
boots.
yeah, stolen the deco's boots.
He's not going to be using them anymore.
Yeah, using them.
And second hand, hey, so technically nothing cruel. I didn't hurt the cow for the leather.
A good quality set of boots is hard to come by, especially in where you are living. And honestly, you've probably almost grown out of the boots that you started off in. You're a grown girl. But the next kind of day and a half is uneventful. You're kind of getting used to sleeping out on the stars now, living in the forest. With your monkey kind of fetching you the odd bit of fruit. Oh, nice, thank you. Thank you for the follow. But before too long, you arrive back in the clearing with the university cottage. And walking in through the front door, you kind of turn and hang up your coat and look down at your nice shiny red boots. Oh, that was a nice trip. And pull out the book to give to Maximus. And a huge figure looms up in front of you. You kind of with a start, look across. You look at each other, and you see this huge hulking furball.
Well, hi!
Who are you?
But
What are you doing here?
this large furball, she's wearing the cloak of the professor,
Yeah, the
billowing gloriously in the slight breeze. Occasionally flapping.
Did you eat Maximus? No, I did not.
I don't know what my voice was like.
classic voice now.
You don't have to be that.
That's it.
You're apparently the good witch. Hilda? What was it? The good witch. You don't need to use that character voice. Glenda, yes, that's right. I mean, you can use Glenda's voice if you really want.
No, I did not eat. Maximus.
I did not eat.
I did not eat. I not eat.
Going back to the
You came back to Wookiee.
Yup,
Yup, yup.
You are a little bit more intelligent.
Sorry, that was Shadow Elvish. No, yup, yup.
Just talk normal.
Yeah, I can't remember what I was supposed to say.
Yeah, keep.
You don't need to
He's
say
gone
anything.
away.
I don't know what to say.
Call yourself
Just,
Taste.
just, I'm not Max Taste. I'm Elspeth.
There you go. Introductions.
With my robe of billowing.
At this point, I'm flattened against the door.
Okay, you
Yes, giant.
Alright.
Gurgi kind of flies in through the open window and flaps up and lands on your shoulder, Elspeth. Just like, whoop, whoop, hands you an apple.
Exactly.
Yes, here's Gurgi. Hello, Gurgi. Hello. Hands you an apple.
Apple. Poison.
She just made it.
Yeah, you have to question food from a stranger.
But
It's a strange monkey.
anyway, eventually you kind of get to know each other and you kind of settle down and she eventually kind of tells you, oh yeah, what do you tell her happened to Maximus?
Maximus has left me behind to watch his little cottage while I study up on these lovely books that he has left behind the trees. Yes.
Where's he gone?
I do not know.
I didn't know about
Do you say, well, the CEO made him sign this contract to...
Oh yes, he went to the Shadow World, didn't he? Yes.
The Shadowfell.
The
yeah.
Shadowfell.
But how much...
He was always interested in planar travel. Maybe he teleported himself to the Shadowfell. He always did want to move to try travelling to another plane of existence. So
No,
that's not what he wanted. But anyway, so you kind of settle down to a bit of initially a bit uneasy, a little bit confused, but Elspeth seems nice and she's neat. She takes care of the cottage. She seems interested in the books that you've been studying, and the two of you kind of eventually kind of awkwardly kind of become friends and acquaintances and friends and kind of settle down to your various tasks of you continuing your wizarding study. Elspeth starts studying. She kind of takes note of the book that you brought back about some of the planar travel.
Can I read your book, please?
Where did that wrong? I guess.
Looks very interesting. Maybe you could share some lovely ideas with me.
I mean, it's not really for me. It was for the professor.
The professor won't notice if we open the
Oh,
book for a little
right.
bit.
Good, yeah. I suppose not.
Anyway, so you eventually kind of make friends with each other and settle down to it. Continue on your studies. A couple of months later, you just feel that shockwave go through you as you find out later on from some travelling traders that the Celestial Gate has been closed and the rest of the gods have fled. And you take a lot of interest in it because planar travel seems to be off the table now, and that was the only way you could get to your home. It was through travelling to another plane of existence. So yeah, it's piqued your interest, and you kind of set yourself to continuing your studies about planar travel and maybe trying to figure out how to get home eventually.
How much do you tell of Ellen?
I tell her nothing until I work everything out.
Yes, okay.
While you're kind of spend the next little while studying and kind of looking at your boots, you recognise that they're magical. A slight illusory properties to them. They're boots of false tracks. So while wearing the boots, you can choose to have them leave tracks like those of any other kind of humanoid of roughly your size. So you kind of have some experiments, and as you're walking around out through the garden, through some of the soft soil, you suddenly start leaving these little goblinoid footprints behind you. Then they turn into, larger Furbolg-sized footprints, then into orcish footprints, and you just get used to wearing these lovely boots.
Footprints.
You can. They're called boots of false tracks. Find them on D&D Beyond.
Hey!
Sponsor me. Or Maximus Tustus.
Maximus Tustus.
And that is where we'll end it, where you guys just kind of settle down and start studying in your little cottage.
Employment contracts. Can I do that?
Sure, if you
That's
want to.
mean.
Doesn't
No,
feel
because
good.
I'm trying to make friends. I don't want to condemn her.
Just a little contract.
How many souls do you need to get to?
19.
19 more. One down, 19 to go.
Just a
No,
little.
not on that page. My mummy needs that end of the book. You can have this end of the
But
book.
anyway, so next session you guys will all meet up and commence the adventure proper.
Hey!
Or die. One
No!
No, we're not going to die just yet. We're going to at least
Worship
meet.
me.
So thank
It's
you
gonna
everybody
be
for
like
watching.
you're going to be like,
This was our
like,
final series of introduction adventures. Next week we'll be into the game proper.
Yeah.
So it'll be less train track narrative and more letting these guys figure out what the hell they want to do.
So we hope you enjoyed tonight, and stay tuned for next Tuesday. 7 o'clock?
Sure.
Yeah,
Somewhere
whatever.
around there.
Australian time. Yeah.
Now,
Alright.
Oh, that's what I'm calling.
Peace out.
H-M.